Mega Delphox might be one of the strongest new Mega evolutions in Pokemon Champions, and this is the team I used to reach champion rank with it. With a base speed of 134, it's instantly one of the fastest Pokemon in the format, and when you pair that with its deep move pool and levitate, giving it complete immunity to ground type attacks, it becomes very difficult for opponents to deal with. For the moveset, I started with Heat Wave as a spread fire type attack alongside Psychic, giving strong offensive pressure off its base 159 special attack, but this combination left us pretty vulnerable to opposing Dark types, especially Tyranitar, which resists fire, and Kingambit, which despite being weak to fire doesn't really care thanks to its priority Sucker Punch. In most situations it's just knocking us out before we can even move. So the next step was finding consistent answers to these threats. The most common answer to Sucker Punch for most Mega Delphox players right now is Substitute, and for good reason. It's a great way to punish it. If they go for Sucker Punch, you can safely set up a Substitute for free and then attack from behind it the following turn. But while that's a really solid option, I wanted to try something a bit different. And that different was the move Encore. Encore is a normal type attack that locks the opponent into the last move that it used for the next 3 to 4 turns. That means if they protect, set up, or misplay in front of you, you can trap them into it and completely control the next few turns. Now this still doesn't solve the Sucker Punch problem on its own though, so I needed another way to shut that down entirely. And this is where Tsareena comes in. On face value, Tsareena is pretty generic, just a pure grass type, but it does have a hidden trump card, and that's its ability Queenly Majesty, which blocks all priority moves while it's on the field for both itself and its partner. That means no Sucker Punch, no Fake Out, nothing. With Tsareena next to Delphox, I can freely fire off Heat Waves into something like Kingambit without worrying about getting picked off first. It also gives a really clean answer to Fake Out leads, especially from common threats like Sneasler. With priority block, Delphox can just click Psychic turn 1 and pick up a knockout since we naturally outspeed it. On top of that, Tsareena also brings Low Kick for extra pressure into Dark types and Grass coverage to deal with Water types, rounding out some of Delphox's weaknesses really nicely. On top of that, I also give Tsareena Sunny Day. This gives me at least some answer into opposing rain teams, letting me overwrite their weather immediately, whilst also boosting Delphox's Heat Wave for even more damage. Also made sure that Tsareena hits a speed stat of 119, which lets it outspeed max speed Modest Pelipper, meaning I can get the sun up before it and partners like Archaludon can attack. Alongside that, I added triple Axle coverage into grass and dragon types and the citrus berry to keep Tsareena on the field as long as possible with Queenly Majesty support. But despite Delphox's naturally high speed, posing speed control, especially Tailwind, can still be a problem. To deal with that, I added in Aerodactyl. It gives us our own Tailwind support whilst also matching up well into common setters like Whimsicott and Talonflame, hitting both for super effective damage with dual Wing Beat and Rock Slide. Being naturally fast as well, it pairs really nice with Tsarena's Queenly Majesty, giving us protection from Fake Out and even Prankster Encore from Whimsicott, which could otherwise lock us into Tailwind and completely waste the following turns. Another common threat I needed an answer for was Scarf Basculegion, or just Basculegion in general. Its water type attacks threaten immediate knockouts on both Delphox and Aerodactyl, and while Tsareena can hit it for super effective damage, it's just too slow to reliably protect those key pieces. So this is where Kingambit came in. He gives us priority Sucker Punch, which is super effective into the Ghost Water Basculegion, meaning we can remove it most of the time before it becomes any sort of problem. It also gives us a solid switch into Dark type attacks aimed at Delphox and a natural answer to Trick Room teams thanks to its low base speed and general bulk. I also give it a Chopper Berry to patch up that 4x fighting weakness, alongside enough defense investment to survive an adamant close combat from a Sneasler. The next thing I looked at was having a more consistent way to deal with some other key threats. Incineroar was a big one. Intimidate slows Aerodactyl down, it threatens Tsareena with its fire type attacks, and just generally makes things awkward for Delphox. On top of that, Pokemon like Excadrill, Tyranitar, Aegislash were also problems I needed better answers for. The ground type fit perfectly here, especially with 2 ground immunities already on the team. It meant I could freely click Earthquake without worrying about hitting all of my partnering Pokemon, and Garchomp fit that role really well. It's naturally bulky, has good speed, and gives us strong switch-ins to rock type attacks that would otherwise pressure the team. And for the final slot, I initially had Aqua Breed Tauros here. It gave us Intimidate support, completed a Firewater Grass Core with Delphox and Tsareena, and added fighting coverage to help deal with those threatening Dark types. But after some initial testing with this, I really felt the lack of fake out support in the team in general, especially in situations where I needed to buy turns against opposing speed control. So because of this, I swapped it out for Sneasler. Now Sneasler gives us fake out support, strong fighting coverage like the Taurus, and additional pressure into fairy types with Dire Claw. Plus it has really nice synergy with Mega Delphox in general. It also brings its own form of speed control with Unburden, which doubles its speed once its held item is consumed. And that means after activating it, Sneasler becomes incredibly fast and difficult for opponents to deal with. I also opted for an adamant nature here to secure more knockouts into things like Kingambit and Incineroar that are holding Chopper Berries, and I didn't really miss that speed drop or that trade-off thanks to Tailwind support and Unburden in general. On top of that, it gives us another safe switch into dog type attacks, which are going to be the bane of Delphox's existence. And unlike Taurus, we don't risk activating opposing Defiant or competitive abilities. Now we don't have that Intimidate. So just to round things out, here's how the rest of the team came together. Aerodactyl is holding a Focus Sash to guarantee Tailwind if we take one big hit. Garchomp has the Soft Sand to boost its ground type damage, especially important for Earthquake and Stomping Tantrum into opposing threats. And overall, this team is just built to give Mega Delphox as much freedom as possible, blocking priority, controlling speed, and covering its biggest threats. And this is the exact team I used to reach champion rank. So let's get into some battles and I'll show you how it actually plays in game. Been a while since I've done one of these, but we are jumping in on the rank ladder. I think we're about 4 wins off getting to champion rank, so it should give us a good variety of different teams that we'll be able to feature and how this team functions against those. Mega Floette and Mega Charizard. Delphox has a hard time against both the Incineroar and the Kingambit, so they're big things that we need to make sure we're checking whether or not we bring Garchomp to this match. I think Aerodactyl is going to be good though. I do want to bring Tsareena. It gives us a little bit of alleviation against the Whimsicott Encore stuff, so we can kind of match Tailwind if they go Tailwind here. I think we go Sneasler, Aerodactyl here though, and then I think Tsareena. I've just talked about Garchomp here. Do we even bring Delphox? Delphox is going to be good if we can get rid of the Kingambit, which we can check with the Sneasler and the Tsareena, so we need to be careful with those in particular. I will bring Delphox, especially if they go Char Y. I mean, we've got the option here where we could predict the Charizard protecting, go for the dual wing beat into the Whimsicott. The problem is there though, we give them the free Tailwind. So I think what we'll do is we'll just pick out Zard and we'll set and match Tailwind here. Okay, Wimmy protecting. I wonder if they're trying to catch us out with an Encore the next turn, which is not going to work because I'm just going to switch in Tsareena here. And this is where Queenly Majesty comes in really useful. So they could match Tailwinds, which is fine. Aerodactyl still outspeed. So we're pretty safe here to just go for that Rock Slide and then switch into Tsareena here. We'll preserve that Sneasler as well, which is kind of important for the Kingambit and the Incineroar that could be lurking in the back that give Delphox such a problem. So let's see that Encore. Come on. So is it Mega Charizard? Why? Of course it is. Why not 8? We're going to see the Tailwind match. We have to see the Encore. Yeah, there it is, trying to catch us out. And this goes seriously bad for my opponent straight away. You can see what they're trying to do, and it's definitely a way around the Aerodactyl threat, but this is why Tsareena and the Queenly Majesty is just so good. And now we're in a pretty strong place because next turn we can go for dual wing beat and then, triple axle as well. So they can Tailwind themselves, which they probably will do, but I think we just take this opportunity to clear the field. Triple Axel, as long as it hits, we'll get the Garchomp. The one drawback about Triple Axel I really dislike, there's the Tailwind, is the residual rough skin damage you take each and every turn. So there's the it's Scarf Chomp. But we managed to prevail. Can Tsareena prevail? At least we know what the Garchomp's locked into now for the rest of the game, if it sticks around. And we hit, so as long as we get the 3 hits. This rough skin damage is awful. There we go, all 3, and Chomp down. So this one's been pretty straightforward for us. And a lot of the time, this will work better in close team sheets on the ladder, this sort of strategy, but even in open team sheet scenarios, your opponent still has to deal with these issues. and these tools that we've got at our disposal to be able to kind of get that speed control set up. So it's just knowing what you've got and getting your leads right in these scenarios and then taking advantage when the time arises. So that's one down. Let's jump into another and see what we bump into next. Another Mega Floette, Mega Frozlass, as you can see, just sneaking in behind me down here. Garchomp, Kingambit, Basculegion, and Sneasler. So no immediate speed control on my opponent's team, which is definitely something that we can either lean into, take advantage of, or we can just kind of rely on the natural speed that we've got on our team regardless. Delphox feels pretty good here. The only thing I would say it's not great into is going to be the Basculegion, the Bishop, because they put a lot of instant pressure onto us, whether or not we see those as leads, which we probably do, to be honest. So maybe we think twice about that. It's just I expect Sneasler to maybe come out from my opponent, and we could have a quick snipe if the Sneasler does come out. The other option is gone with something like Gambit as a lead here. I think we'll go Tsareena, and we won't Gambit, and I think we go Sneasler as well. These Basculegion teams are always difficult, especially Claw's team sheet, because you kind of never can tell if they're scarfed or if they're not, and depending on their build, you have to approach them slightly differently. Okay, so there's the Basculegion, the Garchomp. Tsareena's a nice option here straight off the bat. I don't know if we go after the Basculegion though. I feel like you're going to flip turn straight away. Whereas we could go after the Garchomp and get the triple axle. And we don't really have a great switch in. But to be honest, going into the next turn, I think we have to punish this Basculegion now, this play, with a trop kick. Because if we don't, we could be really caught out. Now what comes in here? I don't think it is going to be Kingambit. The Kingambit would be the worst if flip turn into Kingambit, because then we give it a free Defiant boost. But I've got to really think about the next turn here, because if we go after Garchomp, we get rid of it. Basculegion's still in the field and we can't protect him. We've not got the switches in the back to really bring in to get around it. Okay, so Basculegion just protecting here. This is really nice actually, because now we can Encore it the next turn. And it can't get around that. It either has to switch or it's locked into that protect going forward. So we've got a pretty nice option where we can just Encore it, because it can't Aqua Jet us. We've got the protection of the Queenie Majesty, and then we can triple axle the Garchomp and hopefully remove that and then shut this Basculegion down. That would be a nice option. So let's see what my opponent does. They may predict us Encoring the Basculegion here and switch it out, but I don't mind. It's going to force it off the field the following turn regardless. But if we can take away the Garchomp now, that'd be good. So there's the Encore. The big fish of doom locked into that protect, which we don't mind. Fine. The only thing is, I was gonna say, as long as we don't flinch, we avoid. So that's nice. That makes up for that flinch that first turn. Even though it would have come to nothing. Triple axle coming out. Can we get all three? There we go. And one more. There we go. Very nice. And that's going to proc our Citrus Berry as well. So we're in a decent spot going into this next turn. But the Basculegion is not a threat at all. We can technically kind of target that slot, knowing that the Basculegion is going to switch out as well. Depending on what comes in, though. Sneasler. We've got such a free Psychic into that slot. We've got such a free Psychic. Now, what is going to be the Pokemon that comes in there? So, it's likely... Could we low kick? Could we low kick? Could we be really ballsy? It's going to be the Floette, though. It's going to be Floette, or it's going to be the Frozlass. So we can just Psychic the Sneasler. And then I think we just Trop Kick. Yeah. And any damage onto either of those potential Megas is going to be useful, because the Trop Kick is going to put this Frozlass into... Oh, it's Sashed Sneasler. Don't see those too often. Normally, White Herb. Okay. Dire Claw, that will pick up the knockout. That's still alright. It's still fine. Now what do we go for? What are we bringing? I think we bring in Gambit. Because we can Sucker Punch and Heat Wave here. Okay. Frozlast protecting this turn. There's this Sneasler gone. It's good. We know the Basculegion isn't scarfed either, so that gives us a bit more flexibility in that regard. I think we see the Aurora Veil set up. It's just whether or not we see Aqua Jet come out to get around the Sucker Punch, which is probably quite likely. I mean, you could Wave Crash. I still think we just kowtow cleave this slot though. We could see the Basculegion protect here. That's the other option. Basculegion protects. I think we go after Frozlast, knowing that it's just protected, and the Basculegion likely could protect here to get around the Sucker Punch or Aqua Jet anyway, and we're likely going to see an Aurora Veil just for the Frozlast to get that extra defense boost to get around the Sucker Punch threat that there is. There's the Aqua Jet. That's fine. We'll take that. Is it Aurora Veil? The Veil. Ooh, it's Substitute. Well, good job that we attacked into it anyway, so we can just apply the pressure there a little bit more. Going forward. It's when do they Wave Crash? That's the big question, you know? And it's always risky. It's always risky protecting in these scenarios as well. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to Dire Claw into the Frozlast, and I'm going to kowtow into the Basculegion. Okay, we get the paralysis there, which is nice. Especially if it's fully paralyzed. Okay, there's a Wave Crash this turn. Do we see an Aurora Veil? Because if we do, it means the Basculegion probably takes... It's a Blizzard, so we've got the Basculegion. And then we've got the Frozlast. There we go. Okay. Excellent. The paralysis is kind of nice. Because now we can just Dire Claw. And there we go. Okay. There we go. Forfeit from my opponent, I feel. Yeah, it's paused. Frozen from the Blizzard, the effects. Okay, there we go. Very good game to my opponent. Takes us one step closer at least. And that takes us just below 2100. Okay, next up, we've got Incineroar down at the bottom there. Mimikyu, Conkeldurr, Basculegion, Sylveon, and Tyranitar. So Mega Tyranitar here. Conkeldurr is a bit annoying to deal with. Basculegion's also a little bit annoying to deal with. Mimikyu as well. They're all annoying to deal with. Right, what are we going to do then? I feel like Tsareena does give us a nice option. It gives us the Low Kick into the T-Tar. It gives us the Queenly Majesty against the Mach Punch. We have to be very careful around that Mimikyu though, because if it Sword Stances and it's got Shadow Sneak and it can Tailwind as well, which is not ideal. Trick Room. Okay, we need to speed things up here. So we're going to go with Sneasler. We're going to go with Tsareena. We're going to go with Delphox. And I think we bring Gambit. Although Chomp feels like it would be good here. I don't feel like Aerodactyl's given us that much in this matchup. The Tailwind, yeah, it's going to put us ahead. We got Dual Wing Beat for the Conkeldurr, but it's very bulky anyway. And I don't think one-on-one we have any sort of joy against it. So I think we have to go down different avenues. Right. Tyranitar, Mimikyu. So straight away, I don't think we want to go for the Sunny Day here. We could potentially go Low Kick, Dire Claw to the Mimikyu, and then we could go Low Kick into the Tyranitar. We don't want a Sunny Day just yet, but we want to try and get rid of this disguise on the Mimikyu as soon as possible. We could see the Tyranitar just protect, yeah, and then a Trick Room set up, which would be fine. Mimikyu could Sword Stance as well. That poison's nice. Sleep would have been better, but we'll take any status, bonus status that we get. Okay, what we're going to see, Mimikyu. There's a Trick Room. Okay. don't think you've got a way to get around this Tsareena, especially with the low kick. What have you got in the back to potentially bring in here? Conk, Incineroar, Sylveon. I don't even know if you've got a way to get rid of the Sneasler, really, where we could just make the same play again. Sneasler's pretty important, so we don't want to kind of lose that. The other option is we bring in Gambit here, and then I think we could drop kick Tyranitar, expecting something to switch in. Got a low kick into that slot. Hopefully we're locked in time. It is a sneak, the Sylveon. That's fine though. I mean, getting Gambit on the field, and I doubt we're going to see a play rough into that slot. Yeah, it's more likely into Tsareena. Do we get there? Okay, well, sunny day. Timed out. Not ideal. I'm getting used to doing this at the same time as playing, so you got to bear with me in this. We can just Iron Head the Sylveon. Do they really have anything that they can bring in here? Bit annoying as well because our Citrus Berry's literally just about to proc. I think we just drop kick into the Mimikyu here. Okay, what comes in? Conk. So the drop kick here is really good if we can get this off. Yeah, that's great. And we do have the protection from the Queenly Majesty at the moment as well, which is nice. But we can stall out these Trick Room turns. -1 and the Conk's good. How many turns of Trick Room we got left? 2. Probably want to protect and then just go for another drop kick into the Conk, really. Do they double into the Tsareena? I think you got to go after the Gambit because of the pressure that it's putting on, yeah. We should take a Hyper Voice. Yeah. Barely. But I had the confidence. -2. With a Chopper Berry, we should be super fine now to go for Iron Head. And I think we are going to lose Tsareena here. Unless Gambit underspeeds. But I think we go after the Conqueror because it's just annoying anyway. There we go. Chopper Berry surprise. Yeah, we take that. Nice. It's all about who is the slower. I think we might be. Min speed. Unless, yeah. Okay, that's great. Bye-bye, Sylveon. And Conkeldurr rendered useless. If we hadn't misplayed before with that one little timeout. -3 as well now. So, Dimensions turn back to normal. Mimikyu comes back onto the field. No, we've got this now. Because I think if they try and set the Trick Room up again, which they're likely to do. Wait there, let me think about this. Because they could take down Tsareena. I think we need to double the Conk. Just to be safe, just in case, just to cover bases. Because they can't Mach Punch us with the Queenly Majesty in yeah, okay. This is fine as well because we get the double tap into the Tyranitar. And then they essentially don't have a Mega. And if Mimikyu has Trick Room, which it's like... Oh, it hasn't went Trick Room. That's nuts. That's nuts. Okay. I was like kind of worried if they Trick Room. Now Delphox just wins this. With the T-Tog on. I mean, you've got Shadow Sneak as a potential threat, but it's nowhere near going to be enough to take down Delphox in one hit. We do need to be careful around the Mach Punch, but I think we can just Psychic Mimikyu to prevent the Trick Room coming up. And then we can also... Yeah, Psychic should be enough. And do I even mind losing the Gambit here? I don't think we do. Yeah, we just need to stop this Trick Room going up. Tsareena again, though, in this game has been so pivotal. Been MVP a lot in my ladder ranking when I've been playing with it. There's a Shadow Sneak. No Protect coming out. No Trick Room. We take that pretty well. Mach Punch. Mach Punch. We're going to see it? No, not. Okay, so Gambit. I mean, Gambit as well. Can't really discredit Gambit here. I'm not discrediting anyone, but Gambit's been pretty good. But it's generally good in these Trick Room matchups. And there we go. So, really well dealt with. Delphox making a bit of a cameo. So where does that put us? 108. Just shy of the champion tier, I feel. So let's do one more. Let's pair next opponent. Charizard. Wimmy. Basculegion. Female. I think that's a female. Yes, it is, of course. The gender sign's there. I shouldn't be... I need to concentrate. Sneasler, Gambit, and Garchomp. Okay. Aerodactyl gives us nice options against the Charizard and the Wimmy. Matches the Tailwind as well. No, I think we need Aerodactyl. Maybe we go Gambit. And depending on how they lead, we could have something like Tsareena in the back to switch in to get around. It's just, I think Tsareena gives us a better matchup against Garchomp and opposing Gambit early on. We want Delphox, and then do we want Sneasler here? Sneasler's pretty good. Chomp's pretty good as well. I think we'll go Sneasler. Chomp's pretty nice in this matchup in general, but I think Sneasler probably overall gives a little bit better protection against that opposing Gambit. Wimmy Basculegion. I think we've got to match Tailwinds, and I think we just drop kick into the opposing Basculegion. It's not Scarf, then we outspeed. No. We're going to take an attack for our trouble, unless it turns out. Muddy Water. Don't mind this. Right. I'm just kind of hanging on my hopes there. Just no accuracy drops. When you see Muddy Water, you're like, that's the last thing you want. So the drop kick coming out is enough to take it down. So that's dealt with. Makes things slightly easier for a Delphox. One less thing to worry about. We've got a pretty good swing at like dual wing beat into the Whimsicott this next turn. Depends what comes in, of course, as well. And the Wimmy's kind of pinned here almost. What do you bring in? Garchomp? Yeah, Scarf Chomp. So I think what we'll do is we'll protect Aerodactyl, expecting the Rock Slide, and we'll go for the triple axle into this. Okay, the protect. We like to see it. Rock Slide. We just don't want to flinch. That's the only thing that could really slow us down at this point. Misses us even better. Just proc our Citrus Berry, put us back up to where we were, which is nice because we're going to take a lot of rough skin damage if... there it is. There it is. I don't think it's Scarf, though. And what do we have in the back? Because it might be worth preserving. The Charizard's still going to be easy enough to deal with, I think. I think we just do a Wing Beat into the Wimmy. And then we hope that we land this triple axle this time and no flinches. There we go. Okay. So Wimmy gone. That means their Tailwind is gone. Even if we lose Aerodactyl here, that's fine. As long as we land this triple axle, that's all we need. And then it's 3 against the world. The world being Charizard, of course. Yeah, no 2 flinches in a row, which is nice. One more. One more. There we go, Tsareena. We've been pretty lucky with our triple axles today. Chomp done, and then we've got Zard, baby. I'd imagine it's Zard. And there we go. The forfeit. Good games to my opponent, but it was pretty much locked down easily. And it gives you a good idea of like how the Tsareena can function and how OP it is at the minute, especially close team sheet on the ladder. So we'll try one more because up to this point, it's been a bit of the Tsareena show. So let's jump back on and see if we can do one more to feature a bit more of Delphox. Right, we've got hiding in the bottom, Sinistcha, Charizard, Y, the Sneasler, Aerodactyl, the Floette and the Kingambit. So dual mega team. So they've got speed control with the Aerodactyl. They're going to have their own burden that is going to be potentially something they could activate here with the Sneasler. So I really want to match the Tailwind from the Aerodactyl. I think that's a big important thing for us. It helps out against the Charizard. Do I lead my own Sneasler in this situation? No. Let's go Sneasler over on. We'll go Tsareena in the back. Do we need Gambit here? Gambit's pretty good into like a lot of stuff. But I think I'm going to go Delphox as our 4th Pokemon. It's whether or not we need Tsareena, but it does give us that kind of turn 1 potential where we, depending on what they lead, we can utilize either Aerodactyl to get around fake out pressure, or we can utilize the Sneasler to do the same. Mega Aerodactyl and Floette. So the threat here is going to be either a Rock Slide from the opposing Aerodactyl. It has to be threatened by the fake out support that we've got, so it's likely going to protect here. So it begs the question, do we fake out into the Floette and then just Tailwind ourselves? We need to, because if we don't fake out the Floette, it's going to get a free Dazzling Gleam off, which is not ideal. But it does put us into a better position the next turn. And then I think even if the Aerodactyl does protect here, we've got the option the next turn to Rock Slide and then Dire Claw or Close Combat. So Mega Floette making its appearance. There's a fake out into the Aerodactyl. Just slow that down here. And then we'll see our Tailwind set, which puts us ahead of the opposing Aerodactyl, which is quite important for this next turn. See what this Floette does. Dazzling Gleam, yeah, just to get that chip onto the board. Makes sense. Puts us in Rock Slide range from our Aerodactyl. I think now we've got the option where could Close Combat the opposing Aerodactyl to snipe that. Because I think it's just out of range from a Rock Slide, taking it down, which is really unfortunate. But we know Charizard isn't in the back. I think we Rock Slide. And I'm going to Dire Claw just in case they don't protect. Yeah. And even if we... yeah, we barely missed the Aerodactyl. But the big important thing here is that we get this Floette. More importantly than anything else. Because once that's down, that threat... Like the Aerodactyl, we can deal with. Are they just going to Rock Slide? Which would leave Sneasler out on the field. Ooh, they flinch. Okay. That's huge for us. That's huge. That flips this game around massively. What have they got in the back? Their own Sneasler. Is a huge sitting target because I can just switch in Tsareena and just dual wing beat it. Very tempted to do that. And they could Tailwind here. How many turns of Tailwind have we got left? We've got 2. So, I mean... We could just Rock Slide and just Close Combat the Aerodactyl just to cover any fake out. Or, you know what? I think we do. I think we deal with this. I think what we'll do is we will bring in Tsareena and just dual wing beat the Sneasler and just get rid of that threat. Because then they might set their Tailwind up. But at this stage... I think the trade-off's worth it. And there's the dual wing beat coming out. Just to get around that fake out pressure. Okay, so what's their remaining Pokemon that they've got? They have got dual wing beat, which could deal with this Tsareena. They can't Sucker Punch us though. And there's the forfeit. So again, we didn't get to see Delphox, but we saw the rest of the team function. We still had the Delphox in the back, but that's the power of Tsareena. I think we would have been okay there. We low kick into the Gambit. I don't think we would have seen... That's got to be champion tier, right? And we are in the champion tier, although it hasn't updated from rank 1 for some reason. The top 300 players are the champion tier. So we are definitely that, and 282 there with our current ELO of 2,136. There we go. We 6-win streak at the moment with the team. The reason why we'd fallen from below champion tier is because I've been testing other teams. So the idea was to jump back on and then get champion tier in today's video, which we have done, which is great. I just don't know why the ladder isn't updating. But if you want to try the team for yourself, again, here is the rental code and you can have a good time. Hopefully you'll enjoy playing Mega Delphox. I know we didn't get to feature it as much today, but you got to see the functionality of the other bits of the team, which is good. And I understand that it does cost resources to rent these teams, so hopefully the examples that you've seen in today's video kind of justify you spending those resources if you want to try it out, or it might just inspire some ideas of your own with the Tsareena and some other combinations that are in here that I think work very well in this first format. But there we are, friends. If you've got any other mega Pokemon that you'd like to see featured on the channel or me build around to take onto the rank ladder, do let me know down in the comment section below. If you've got any questions about the team, I'll be happy to answer those as and when I get the opportunity. But thank you so much for tuning in. If you've enjoyed today's video, do drop a like, do subscribe to the channel. This is a brand new channel that we're kind of hoping to build up as we go forward, and the more support that we get on here means the more time I can actually spend doing videos as well. So it does mean a lot. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great rest of your day. Enjoy Champions or whatever you're up to over the next few days, and I'll see you in the next video very soon.